So today on Project Shop, we are back on the oil system. We got a lot going on in the shop today. We got Steve outside working on the generator and the brown car that everybody keeps telling me needs to go. The battery on that thing is completely dead, and we found that the radiators are completely clogged. Okay, so where we're at now is I am running a little bit more. We are absolutely full. I'm actually going to shut it down because we're at the point where we're going to risk. Oh, we're actually hitting the lip. We're done. So I'm going to shut this off. I'm going to shut this valve off. Okay, so that's off. That's off. I'm going to let that run for a couple minutes. But we're literally beyond our capacity. We're full. We're probably 250, 275. What is that? Yeah, 250. We're way up there, man. So what I need to do now is I got this tote here that I cleaned out, that I picked up the other day. I just got to make sure it's dry, because this is going to be my tote that I put there. I'm going to pull these two down. That one's not clean, so I'm going to put this up there, and I'm going to start pumping all this oil up into it. That way I can just let it kind of use its own weight to feed into another. I got to clean out another one I got sitting out there. And the reason I'm going to use them is they had a less hazardous chemical. I don't think that was hazardous, that was just soap. But this was food grade glycol. So this stuff will clean up easy and I can get it out of there. What I need to do on both of these is tap into that right there, and I got enough of these parts to where I can screw that on there and either go with this valve and then a gate valve. I bought these. So what we're going to do is set our flow with this valve. We'll have this coming out, and we're either going to use, I'll probably use that for something else. We'll use these, and then I'll use that. Okay. That way we can dial our gallons per hour with this and then not touch it. And then we use this to turn it on and off. So I hope I got enough fittings here. The only thing I know I don't have is enough hose. But let me walk into this mess of a room here. Up there, I have a bunch of airline. I don't know if that's gonna work, but we're gonna try. I might have used some of that in the past, so I think we're okay. Can be pressurized. I don't know how well it's gonna hold up to chemical, but I think I have 3 different sizes of it up there, and I have a lot of it. So I don't wanna keep buying hoses at this time. I want to actually start recovering my money, and being that we have, let's just say we got 250 gallons here, right? I'm going to cut the first batch 50-50, so we have 500 gallons at, like, right now fuel is $3.60 a gallon. It's going to cost me $900 to blend this, but we'll have $1,800 worth of fuel. But I believe I already have probably 75 gallons, 50 to 75 gallons, maybe close to 100 sitting in my fuel cell, that every time I go fill my tank, I just give them a $100 bill, and whatever's left over I dump in the tank. So I got a little stockpile of diesel that we're going to start with. So out of pocket, hopefully going forward, I can get a lot of this done without coming out of pocket for any more fuel fit-ins and stuff like that. Now eventually there is going to be more out of pocket, because I like the clear tubes. I can see what's going on. I can see the condensation here. That we're gonna work on that. I got a plan on that. Oh, I got to turn the heater off. But for now, we're just gonna run. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put fittings on this one and this one, so that this can be pumped up into this up here. Now, depending on, I gotta think how I want to do this. I am gonna have to go get some more parts, because I'm gonna put a manifold here where I can have valves where I can just divert from one tank to the other. And the same thing on the other side. I'll have a manifold to where I can either run it through the centrifuge, or I can run it up into one of the tanks. And then I'm gonna have like a line where I can like purge, like if I'm pulling dirty oil and then I want to run this clean oil, what I'll do is I'll purge the system. I'll like pull oil and maybe dump it into a waste bucket that'll eventually go back into a settling. We're gonna have to so I've been pulling oil out of a bunch of drums. Oh, I had some diesel fuel too. So this diesel been sitting around probably for a year. There was probably 30, maybe 40 gallons of it, or 15. There's probably 25 gallons, sorry, probably 25 gallons. I'm just dumping that right here into the oil. I'm not gonna use that as a blend. So it'll thin this out a little bit, and we'll run it through the centrifuge. Hopefully it'll pull any water, contaminants out. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get this one completely dried out, which I think I did a good job with this one. And then I'm gonna immediately start on the other one. And once I start pumping this up, which I want to use this pump, I'm gonna have a nice little setup over here with valves, and we're gonna dial this in and make it nice. And then yeah, we're gonna have to spend a little bit more money on tubing, because I want to eventually get it all into this tube, except for the ones coming out of here. I like this clear tube where I can see what's going on. We gotta figure out that moisture there. I'm wondering if the oil I was running was just too much water, because there was a couple times I was pumping out of these drums and I stuck that pump down the bottom, and I almost forgot. There's probably almost a gallon or more in that long hose right there. I mean, that hose is probably 20 feet, you know, if not more. So it was pumping nice, good black stuff, and all of a sudden it changed to like a milky white, watery. So I had to stop. So I did pump some water in here, and since we're pulling from the bottom, it probably got up in that centrifuge. Now it seems like that thing's doing an excellent job at pulling stuff out. Let's take a look at our waste bucket here. Wow. Oh, so that thing holds a gallon. That makes sense, because I've shut this down about 4 times now. Okay. Before I shut this down right now, I'm going to dump this out. I don't want it to overflow. And I'm going to eventually have this into like a bigger drum, like a 55 or something like that. But this, now a lot of this is probably good oil, but we're going to dump it right in this open. This is going to be my sludge bucket for now. Oh, you know what? Just in the very bottom there was some pure water. Most of that looked like good oil. Okay. All right. I'm gonna get set up on what I'm gonna do with these, and I'll get all the parts and everything ready. Bring over that tote, get that one started cleaning, and then I'll show you exactly how I'm gonna do this. Okay, this is where we're at, and I found some issues while I was swapping them tanks down. So what I think I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna put this tank in there sideways, and have the things coming out like this. I have it like that because this is what I've made so far. Oh, and I think I'm going to put another tank back up here for diesel. I'm just not going to fill it all the way up. I'm just going to fill it up as much as I'm going to do a run, that, you know, and then we'll blend it. So what we actually need is a whole nother section, so I can have like 2 finished totes, 2 clean totes, or a clean tote and a diesel that I can let drain down into 2 clean totes, and then this will be like the filtering section, you know. Like I said, we're just prototyping it here. We're working out all the bugs and how we want to do it. I think for now that shelf is going to go because I'm not really using it for anything important. To me right now, this is going to be making me more money than that shelf is. So that shelf's going to go, and we're going to put some totes there temporarily until I figure all this system out. Oh, the major thing that happened while I was picking that up and I used the second tier, I was standing here and I was like, that beam at the bottom looks kind of crooked. And then I noticed the giant crack over here in the corner. So then I got to thinking, way back when I first got this, I wondered why these 2 things were welded down to it. And I think those 2 things were actually holding that up. So I got Steve's on the hunt for my pressure cleaner because I let him borrow it. And I took my other one to the house. So we need to pressure clean this, see what we need to do. It looks like I'm going to have to do a major repair there. It looks like that thing might have just been broken, and that strap was the only thing actually holding that up. And I did notice, you know what, I've been meaning to get in here and look at this because now this is my hose that's kind of coming apart. All that, yeah, we'll get a new hose on there, but it ain't leaking, so, but we got to get that sorted. I'll have to push this forward, but this line here where the metal is, when this goes all the way down, it was actually rubbing on that, and I was thinking, like, why would they do that? It made no sense why that was there. Now it makes perfect sense. We got a broken machine. But you know what, for what I paid for this thing and what it's been doing for me, I'm okay with where we're at this time. This thing has been a game changer. I wouldn't be able to do half the things I'm doing now in the amount of time I'm doing it without it. So definitely I'm okay with, I mean, it's not okay, but I'm not mad that we're running into some problems, but we'll get that sorted out. I think right now, with as busy as I am, it's not gonna, I'm gonna have to do, I don't know what kind of repair on that. I'm gonna have to see how everything fits. And now I can see why on my ramp this side has been getting dug into. I'm just wondering how long that's been like that. It's very rare I actually use that second tier. Only when, like, I was dumping stuff into my dump trailer. But anyway, back to the waste oil. What I'm going to do is I made these three things. Okay, this one here is going to go right here, bam, facing up, and it just needs an open valve. I always want 2 valves on these things, the main valve that comes with it, and then another valve. Being that this is just going to be a fast pump into there, it really doesn't need to be anything elaborate. Like this one here, I actually have a gate valve on there, and I kind of got ahead of myself on this one. I need to actually take that off before that hardens totally, because that's on the floor. I need to screw the one piece on first, and then I can screw that back on there. But this, I'm gonna screw here and kind of have off to the side like this. Okay, and then I can adjust my flow. And we're gonna feed this into the centrifuge. Now, eventually, I will have a manifold here with 2, maybe even 3 inlets, depending on where I want to bring the oil from. You know, like right now we're coming out of this tank into there, but we're gonna undo that. Well, we're gonna have to undo it this time and then run just a line that's gonna just feed right into there with just the weight of the oil. I hate using gravity feed because it's more about, gravity is an unproven theory, and it's buoyancy and density that kind of work everything else out. So anyway, we're gonna get that plumbed in. I gotta get some line. Unfortunately, I don't have any more clear line, so we're gonna try to use the line I have on hand at the moment to save some money. But I will eventually get a whole roll of that line there, because I'm gonna be, wait till you see the system I have mapped out in my head, man. We are gonna have a dialed system, man. It's gonna be one of the best filtration systems around, you know. And it's going to be ever evolving. Like I said, eventually I'd like to have 2 centrifuges, maybe even 3, maybe even just one big motor running all of them, you know. So we could do a 1-pass setup through multiple centrifuges at multiple RPMs, and you know, that way we can just get it done fast and not worry about going once, pumping it out, doing it again. You know what I'm saying? But right now we got 1 centrifuge. The PO BioDiesel Ultimate Force Centrifuge is killing it, in my opinion. So I'm gonna get this all plumbed up. I'm actually gonna pull the bowl, clean it again, and this is what I found the best way so far to clean it. The first 2 times I scraped it out, and I actually used like Dawn dish soap and I scrubbed it. The last time I cleaned it, I literally just used the scrapers, scraped 90 something% of it, and then I just wiped it out with these blue towels, which I really like, because then I can use them as fire starters, and we can burn them. Or if I have to, I could just put them rags in the incinerator and we can 100% burn all that stuff, you know. So let me get these 2 things plumbed in, and let's start pumping some more diesel. All right, man, we are all plumbed up with the new setup I have coming from here into the pump. Out of the pump, it goes back, that red line goes up into the top, and then we have this line coming out of the bottom back into the centrifuge. Now again, this is all backwards from how I'm gonna eventually do it. We're not going to be, well, maybe on this one we'll let it feed into there by itself once it's cleaned once. But I still like the idea of pulling from the top. And I'm actually going to see how well this pump does. I don't know how well this line is going to hold up to a suction, being that this is a pressure line. But we're about to find out. Hopefully it doesn't collapse on itself. If we have to, we'll dial it down. Hopefully it primes itself. Last time I had to get the air out of it, but if we have to prime it, what I'll do is I'll just take the line off from up top, take a bottle up there, and set the pump on reverse and let it suck down into it. I don't know, but we're gonna the only thing we can do is start opening valves. So this valve here, you know what, I'm gonna leave that kind of half cocked just in case something happens. We don't have it full open. Open that. It should at least bring this up to this level, which is almost to the level of the thing. Now we're going to run it, but we're going to crank the speed up. This is at 3.5. We need to go, we're going to crank it way up. I have no idea if it's doing anything. I don't hear anything yet. All right, that's wide open. I don't hear anything. So we might have to prime it. I don't know why that pump wouldn't prime itself. That pump there primes real easy. I mean, it could be working, I don't know. Let me go up top and check. Oh, is that oil in there? Well, there's no leaks. I can't tell if any oil is actually getting in there. I got that all screwed on to where can't really undo it. Let me see if I can't get this off. Oh, I hear it. I want to kind of see the flow. Hold on. Oh, okay. All right, that's flowing pretty good. I'm okay with that. I'm just going to leave this a little screwed on. I actually drilled holes in that white cap to vent okay. All right, we're getting there. Yeah, we're definitely getting oil. Okay. Now, what I'm going to have to do is we're going to have to build 3 manifolds turn the fan on. I gotta get a splitter. I gotta see if I can find a splitter. I need more power than I have over here. Just charging that battery. So this thing goes up to 60. We were at 3.5 running this thing. Oh yeah, it's splashing oil in there. So pretty soon, okay, while that's filling up, I'm gonna pull the bowl. Well, actually, I'm gonna go eat something. I'm starving. I'm gonna pull the bowl. I'll show you what was in there from a run last night. Probably, it might have been a good 6 or 7 hour run of this dirty crap here. So, and I definitely, I already decided I like the clear tubes. I want to see the oil, because I would have already been able to tell if the oil was going. So we're gonna let that fill up. That's gonna take a while, but as soon as it gets a little bit in there, I can start the centrifuge. So I'm gonna eat lunch. We'll pull the bowl, we'll clean it, see how much gunk is in there. That way we're starting with a fresh bowl, and then we'll get to see how clean this was, how much more gunk we get out of it. You know, some people say they run it 3 times, so I'm assuming that you know, it's gonna pull stuff out each time. But this time we're gonna let it run at 3.5 with the heater, and I'm just gonna let it run. I'm gonna clean that other tote, and I'm actually gonna move this tote up out of the way, and that way we can just fill it up right here. And I might only I don't know, maybe I'll just fill it up and have that as my clean tote, and we'll just start stockpiling clean totes. I literally I went and picked up 18 of these totes for free. So I paid almost 200 bucks for 4 of them, and then I got 18 of them for free. I got a new contact. So, you know, I don't know what it is, but you know, God always provides for me in some way or another, and I'm really blessed and thankful. And yeah, it's already starting to make a dent. All right, I'm rambling. It's lunchtime. You can already see some black getting in there. Super stoked about that. Are we all the way back? I'm gonna push that back just a little farther, because I do want to get another tote up here with diesel so I can blend. And then yeah, man, we're well on our way, dude. I mean, we've already got, what do you think, $900 in fuel savings. And yeah, it's a little cost set up and, you know, time involved, but once I have this dialed where I'm just hitting valves and switches, man, the most time consuming thing is going to be actually getting the oil, which I get while I'm out and about. And then it's going to be you know, basically cleaning the bowl, man. Other than that, this is just going to be a set up and go system. All right, here we go. We got this thing dialed in for the final run before I blend it. Now I'm just going to run this whole tank, which is being sucked up out of here. This tank, we're going to have to do something different, because that's taking way too long. I don't want to run that pump. It's already been probably 2 hours to get to that point. We're gonna need something a little faster than that. So what I'm gonna do now is start the centrifuge. I got a clean bowl. The last bowl was actually kind of nasty, but I had been dropping I had been putting a bunch of dirty stuff in that bin. I actually took that bin outside, and I'll do all the settling. I actually need to modify that, or I'm gonna modify a different one of those, to do the settling. We're gonna cut the top off and do something a little different, so we can pull from the top and we're not going to get the sludge in there. I guarantee just one settling drum, we can get a lot of that sludge out. Okay, we're up to speed. Now I'm not going to turn the heater on until I get a flow. So what we're going to do is, hopefully this is all the way closed. We're going to open this valve. Oh, we got 3 valves going on here. First we need to open this valve, make sure we're not leaking. Looking good. Now this valve here will be the one where we just turn it on when we're ready to go, and this is going to be our flow control. Oh, that looks like it's going pretty quick. Whoa. See, I can dial it, slow it down. Let's see. We probably want it maybe right about there. That loop actually worked out pretty good. So what I'm going to do is check the time. Let's get a time check. Actually, I'm going to start. It's 5:06, but I'm going to start a timer. That might be a little slow. We want 5 gallons an hour. We'll see how long it takes to come out of there. It's already starting to spit something out of there. Oh, I forgot. Where's my phone? Stopwatch. All right, we're gonna run a stopwatch, and then I'll just let that run in the background, and then we'll see how long it takes to get 25 gallons in there, and then we can see from there. Now what I did here is I just took that tube off and I just ran it over here. So we're gonna have to do a thing here too with 2 valves to direct it where we want to go. Still gonna use that to pump for now, but I don't want to have to sit here for hours and babysit this. So I want to pump it fast. I don't know, man. What about one of them pull pumps? That's what we need, man. Maybe we need to get a pull pump out here. Or even a big one. I don't care. Nah, it'd be pumping right into the thing. I'll put a spout that goes all the way to the bottom so it fills it up. Eventually, every single one of these, my final pull, even the tank like this, my final pull, I want to pull off the top, even after it's filtered once. Because it takes so long to filter that it's still settling. So we might as well pull off the top. We'll push it down through the bottom through a funnel. We're going to do that with every single one of these. So going forward, that pump there, even though we might pump it up into there with that pump, we'll actually be pulling out of the top. And I was already thinking about injecting it into the bottom, like have that pump it right in the bottom and fill it up so we can pull off the top. Or we just pump it to the top and let it go through a thing. I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't know. I can't really even judge how much is flowing. We kind of got like air in a line, but at least we can see. That was an old hose I had laying around for a while. I mean, it looks like it's flowing. It wasn't as high as that, so it should start flowing out of here soon. It's got to be filling this up. Yeah, I'm surprised it wasn't leaking already. I'm gonna turn it up, and then I'll dial it back down once we get some flow in there. Once I can see something happening. I forget which way I was turning this thing. I think that way is opening it. Open it wide open? I don't know, man. I think we're flowing a lot more now. Okay, we're back at it, and man, we got some bad news. not only is that side broken, but that side's broken. And they've been in there. Hold on, let me get the get my little light. They've been in there before and welded that thing up. It doesn't look like they pulled the cylinders to do this, and I have a problem. I have some stuff I have to move here like now, so I don't have time to take this whole thing apart and do this the way it should be. I'm just gonna have to try and unfortunately just pull that back forward and jack it up and kind of weld it back in place. I am going to move this over and jack it sideways and see if I can't get up underneath of it the best I can. I'm really curious to see if they got under that or if they just welded the front and then put them straps on. You know, now I know why them straps were there, but we're going to try to do a quick repair on this. And then what I need to do is not even using the second tier. So I don't think I'll be putting pressure on that. I just need it to hold itself up. And I'm not sure, when I let this down, these things still sit flush. Even though that's down like an inch, they still sit flush. Something's stopping these. I don't know where the stoppers are. I was kind of looking for them. I don't know if they're on the back side or how it really works, but they don't go down past. They kind of stop. And I'm not really sure where the stoppers are. But I just need to get this thing working. I got stuff sitting out in the street, and I need to move a generator. And I just, man, this was a bad time for this to happen like that. And I really can't be mad or complain because $1,500 forklift, it's already paid for itself for what I've been doing with this thing. And I rarely even use that second tier. Probably only, I can probably count on my hand how many times I pick something up that high. Really only to pick something up. And actually I'm going to move the forklift over to one side, give me room to get a jack in there. I did take the forks off, so while I'm operating under here I don't have to worry about hitting them or anything, and just to keep a little bit of weight off of that. But that, what I'm gonna have to do, and I'm gonna have to probably do it, I bought bushings. This thing rocks when you pull this all the way back. This thing rocks, and there's bushings that I bought, so I have to remove this off anyway. I just don't have the time to do it right now. I got so much going on. This happened, it couldn't have been a worse time for this to happen. But I'm glad I found it before it actually just, I think this one strap right here is the only thing holding it on at this point. So I'm gonna go get a jack, and well, I'm gonna put a block under here and then just try to pry that up into place. Man, it's a tough fix, man, because I can't get all the way around it. I'm gonna jack this thing up so I can get up underneath of it the best I can. I'm gonna go find a bunch of blocks so I can put some cribbing under this thing, and we're just gonna do what we can, man. I think if I can grind that out as much as I can and get it up into place, kind of tack the front, jack this thing up on its side, get up underneath of it, grind a big V, weld it the best I can there. I haven't stuck my hand under there yet, but I can't really wow. I don't think they welded the bottom. I think they just welded the front where they could, and then just welded these straps. You see how far down that dropped. And it looked like that strap been off for a while. Look how dirty that is. So I don't know. It's kind of my fault for not pressure cleaning this. Continuing and getting that. Now I really, my pressure cleaner's at the house right now. So I need to go get that and bring it back here and just finish this thing, man. This thing is such a back saver and money maker. We really got to keep this thing moving. And I just had another situation where it makes me realize I need another forklift, and I'm going to need 2 trucks because we can't be down like this. But let's see what we can do here for the time being. I'm going to get in there and grind the crap out of that the best I can right now. I think I'm going to take the cut off first and get in there, cut some of that, just cut that off. Maybe the plasma cutter would be the best way to go. Yeah, let me go get the plasma cutter. I think that'll be the quickest way to get that and get a good V in there so I can get some decent weld. Okay, after jacking this thing up, I think I'm actually going to be able to get a better repair than I thought. Probably if I don't even think I need to pull the wheel, but I got this thing jacked up. I got 4x4s over there, 2x4s here. I don't want this thing coming down on me. I'll be able to clean this up here and actually get most of the weld that was originally, it looks like it was only welded up here and up here on this front face. So it looks like the actual piece broke and not the weld. So if I can get this back up, I'll be able to get a decent weld on here. And yeah, it was that thing is bolted in. Those rams are bolted in from the bottom.
There's no penetration on that weld at all.
No, and then the original thing, I thought that was maybe one piece. It didn't even have that much of a weld from the factory, it looks like. I don't know about back here. I might have to jack it up a little higher, and I can get on the back side too as well. So I'm gonna come in here with the plasma cutter and just blast as much of this away as possible. I think that's gonna be my best bet to get a good V and be able to just fill this back in with get some serious penetration. I brought out the big boy welder for this one, but I think if I do that, I want to stay away from that cylinder. It looks like the original piece is still on there. That's crazy, man. I just don't have the time and energy and to take this off right now. That's gonna have to be just welded the best I can now. I will actually put this strap back, but I'm gonna try to push it back a little bit, because up here you can actually see it's been rubbing into it there. It's actually rubbing the back side of that pipe. So we want to weld it back a little bit, and it looks like, man, that's been off for a while. That's just so crazy, man. Maybe I'll clean that weld up there and put another bead on it, because right now that strap right there is the only thing holding this up, which is crazy. So I'm gonna get the plasma cutter out. I'm gonna prep this side, then I'm gonna let it down, move the forklift over. I'm gonna prep this side, and then I'll get this thing up in place, probably tack it, and then see if we can't put some big hog welds on this thing. All right, here's where we're at. We're at the point where I need to start putting some tack welds on, but you know, when it rains it pours. So as I'm going through and I'm trying to gouge out and V out and get it as deep of a gap as I can in all the areas with the space I have, I just found something very interesting. So I noticed that this whole thing would rock back and forth, and I bought bushings. There's supposed to be bushings that go up in there, okay, and then I got to looking. I'm like, I'm underneath, and I'm like, oh, it's hard to tell, but there's a bolt right, let me see, right there, right? Well, all of a sudden I noticed, I was like, oh, this side over here is missing the bolt. And there's a reason for it. The way this one broke, it actually broke in the middle. I don't know, I can't, let me see. It broke in the middle of where the bolt is. So it split the thread. So I'm not gonna be able to fix that right now, and that's obviously been broken for a very long time. What I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to somehow weld that up and then just retap it, drill it and tap it. Also, this side was missing a screw, but I've got this back pretty much where it needs to be. Now what's happening is, since there's some, I don't know if it's because the bushings are missing, I'm gonna have to actually like borrow the neighbor's forklift or something after I get this kind of secured back in there, and like pick this whole thing up, or maybe pick it up with my cherry picker and pull them off. I need to pull the whole entire 3-tier structure off. I can't do that right here at the moment. I need to get this thing going. But the repair that I'm going to do now is going to be way better. As you can see how far I gouged that out. I'm going to put a ton of weld in there. I'm going to get it where it's supposed to be. And then once I pull the structure off to do those things, and I'll be able to actually weld more, you know. But I think the repair that I'm going to do now is going to be way better than what was there, because they only welded the face here and put these straps on. None of that backside was welded. So I'm going to get weld on there, but eventually I'm going to have to come in and pull these rams and get down in that corner and gouge it out. This is just kind of crazy that something like this would break like that. They either rammed into a bunch of things, or I don't even know how that would break off. I mean, that's just crazy. Either poor quality welds at the factory, or I really can't say. I don't know. But we're gonna put it back on there. So where I'm at right now is I keep adjusting one side, and then I go to adjust the other side, and it kind of keeps moving back and forth. So I'm gonna tack this in place, probably in like 3 spots, and probably secure that back on, or maybe I'll wait to secure that back on there. But I need to get it tacked into place so this side's not moving. That side's right where it needs to be. So I'm gonna tack that, and then I'll maneuver this side into place. I think I need to go up and forward, and then or I need to bring these in some. I had to take this board out and shave it a little more so that I can squeeze these. I'm squeezing it right now with this strap. So once I get this tacked in, I'll be able to see what side. This side looks like it needs to come over. And I'll just smack it over with a hammer. But I think we're ready to go, and I think the repair that I'm about to do is gonna be better than what was there. And I have no idea how long, that obviously was there for a very long time. The amount of dirt that was caked up on there, and shame on me for not finishing this pressure clean. I should have finished pressure cleaning this. Another thing I see is that hose is just it's gonna need to be replaced, and I need to get up in there and finish pressure cleaning all that stuff. Still got a lot of work to this thing, but man, I got so much going on right now, and I'm a one-man band, so doing everything myself. I gotta kind of do what I can just to keep things rolling. So we'll put some tacks on this thing, and then we'll get this thing kind of in place, and then we're just gonna hit it with some heavy bead. I am gonna look for my propane torch and hit this with some propane to heat up that heavy steel. When you're dealing with steel that thick, you want to preheat it a little bit. That way the welder isn't trying to use so much amps to heat it up. It just makes it melt the metal a little bit easier. So yeah, this is where we're at. I'll tell you where we're going, right to the scrap yard.
Dancing. You ever seen your copper dance before?
Okay, I finally got this thing tacked in to where it needs to be, and I referenced off of that there, and I had to put a strap coming down underneath this thing and just squeeze this thing together.